What's crazier to think about is, do you even realize that if Obi-Wan didn't have this 10-year hiatus from Order 66 to what we see now in the finale, if the last episode showed us anything, is that Prime Obi-Wan was not Revenge of the Sith, my friends. Prime Obi-Wan was what we saw yesterday, 10 years later, and keep in mind, he started the series off weak. He hadn't used the Force or the lightsaber or anything for that matter. So could you just imagine if the Jedi Order was not destroyed, if Anakin would have let Windu kill Palpatine and everything would go according to plan? Dude, Obi-Wan might have been one of the greatest Jedi to ever live. And after the finale, we have to talk about who is stronger. Is it Obi-Wan, Windu, Yoda? Previously, we would always talk about Windu, Yoda, who is the greatest. You gotta insert Obi-Wan now in there too. Again, one of the main guys who virtually destroyed Obi-Wan's career as a Jedi Master is Anakin Skywalker, now Darth Vader, as we saw in the finale. The epic duel that we all waited, we did wait for a reason. It was spectacular, it was great, I really enjoyed it. Whatever your thoughts about the aftermath and why Obi-Wan did not kill Vader, well, we're gonna talk about that and a lot more. After Obi-Wan beat Vader, there were a lot of weird things happening, and we're going to talk about those more in particular. I expected Obi-Wan to do what he did after I watched episode 5 because that ship seemed mediocre at best, and naturally it could not jump into hyperspace, so the Star Destroyer with Vader aboard was pursuing them, and eventually Obi-Wan, to distract Vader and the others, landed on this unknown, beautiful, dark planet. It kind of reminded me it was in between Dathomir and Exegol, if you lower the gamma way down and it's dark. And again, it seemed that Obi-Wan thought he was ready, but not yet. Vader got the best of him at first, thought he was dead, crushed him with stones, although later we find out Obi-Wan was holding for dear life with the Force and ultimately realized what he was fighting for in the end, and that's why he destroyed all the rocks, Force jumped kinda up there, and went on to fight Vader with all the light supporting him. It seemed very strange to me yesterday at that particular time when Obi-Wan was holding the rocks to not crush him. This, I think, is the moment when Qui-Gon should have spoken to him as a disembodied voice, and later he could have appeared as a Force ghost at the end there. It's nice that he ultimately understood what he was fighting for. Of course, the flashbacks of Leia and Luke, those are the most important thing to his life right now, and he needs to set things straight in order to one day bring balance to the Force and teach Luke the ways of the Jedi. I don't know, I just thought that that was a great moment for Qui-Gon to come in, speak to him, give him inspiration so that Obi-Wan could hurl the rocks back, and then he would gain the strength out of the words of his old master Qui-Gon and go fight Darth Vader. Once the second part of the fight started, Vader got completely decimated. He even got his life support console crushed, something that we have not seen almost ever just in Legends comics, somebody targeting that console. Vader was wheezing, could not breathe. Obi-Wan almost killed him if it wasn't for him stopping and seeing the face of his old friend Anakin Skywalker, very similar to what happened with Ahsoka and Rebels Season 2. In fact, it was exactly the same, just this time it was not the right eye who was exposed. In the Kenobi show this time, it was his left eye that was exposed together with half of his other face and head. Did you happen to notice, though, that at one point in time when Vader definitely makes it sure that Anakin is dead and now I am Vader, he was maniacally, evilishly smiling. He had a grin on his face. That's when the red engulfed his face as well. This is, of course, weird in face value because this is after Obi-Wan kicked his behind, completely destroyed him in this duel, and Vader should be extremely frustrated. He should be sad that he had lost to Obi-Wan again. Instead, he is smiling. This was very weird to me at that time when he was speaking. After what he said and after what I saw in Obi-Wan and after thinking about it, today I wanted to make that video to actually clarify why did Vader smile at that moment at Obi-Wan more specifically. So as I said, Vader has nothing to smile for at this time because Obi-Wan just decimated his confidence, crushed it completely. Vader thought he was his super powerful being after becoming a Sith, and after 10 years, Obi-Wan just came out of the retirement after not touching a lightsaber or using the Force and did this to Vader. However, we have seen that Vader is a psychological tormentor. There is a reason why there are canon comics that hint at Vader horror, because Vader is a very great horror character if he wasn't in sci-fi and Star Wars. And what he enjoys most is torturing his victims mentally, toying with them, keeping them on edge, and I think this is where he took the opportunity to lash back at Obi-Wan in his own dark, twisted way. You see, at this time, when Obi-Wan saw Anakin's face for the first time after so many years, he could not help but weep, cry that how did it get to this point? He was still calling him Anakin. He said, "I'm sorry," twice. This is where we see hints of blue on Vader's face, but all of a sudden things turn around. Vader takes this opportunity, this moment. If he can't beat Obi-Wan physically, then he would win the fight mentally. So what did he do? Instead of accepting Obi-Wan's apology and relinquishing his darkness, bringing back the light, Vader doubled down. His response to Obi-Wan's apology, Vader said, "I am not your failure, Obi-Wan. You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did." When he said, "I did," there is a grin on his face that is unmistakable. This is not only to put Obi-Wan, meaning that he was never tough enough to kill Anakin Skywalker, but also making him look like a fool as a Jedi Master. Since Vader is saying here that I destroyed Anakin Skywalker, meaning Vader, his dark side persona. This also means that Vader has been inside Anakin this whole time, even when he was a Padawan to Obi-Wan. Again, of course, trying to put Obi-Wan down for being a Jedi Master and not noticing that his apprentice has an enormous dark side energy inside of him. But instead of baiting Obi-Wan, we all know that Obi-Wan has the biggest mental fortitude we have seen in a Jedi. And this is one of the main reasons why I love Obi-Wan the most, is because through his maturation, how he grew up watching his master die, he learned that you have to be mentally tough, not just physically. While Vader tries to mentally get into Obi-Wan's head, provoke him about the death of Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan simply retorts that after all this, Vader is still acting this evil, then his friend is truly dead. And he says goodbye to Darth, leaving of course Vader pondering why couldn't he probe Obi-Wan's mind and influence him negatively, and he ultimately yelled out for Obi-Wan, similar to what Maul did, because that's what Obi-Wan does to you. You think you have him cornered, but instead you're in a plank and you're walking towards the ocean with sharks inside. Guys, let me know what did you think about this part, and did you enjoy watching Hayden Christensen back again? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you can have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you. Until then.